fesiweni kandana dani na baye ebutaipa dani na baye dani na baye ebutaipa dani na baye ebutaipa 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 abaye akeshifu yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa abaye akeshifu yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa abaye akeshifu yembutaipa ginshakan inyanum 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 yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa wasijimaba yena kechifu yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa wasijimaba yena kechifu yembutaipa ginshakan inyanum 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 yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa wasijimaba yena kechifu yembutaipa yenana abaye akeshifu yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa abaye akeshifu yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa abaye akeshifu yembutaipa ginshakan inyanum 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 yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa wasijimaba yena kechifu yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa wasijimaba yena kechifu yembutaipa ginshakan inyanum 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 yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa wasijimaba yena kechifu yembutaipa yenana lombutaipa wasijimaba yena kechifu yembutaipa
Let's have a seat. All right. So good evening. Welcome to the second day of 2023 MOBA Election Hub. Today we are doing two things. We are going to have a media engagement with those vying for the Decade Year Group, and we will introduce them in due course. And then we will also have the two gentlemen vying for 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘. But just to start off, my name is 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘. I'm a 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 class of 76, Lockhart Swizer, very proud, and we're proud to be here as well. So on that note, let's bring in the three gentlemen who are vying for the Decade Year Group. Please come and join me. So, gentlemen, welcome. So just to start off, we want to introduce the three candidates. And once we do that, we will do a ballot as to who is first, second, and third on the ballot. It doesn't really mean anything, but just for voting purposes. So, David, why don't you start? Introduce yourself. Tell us, give us 5 minutes, your 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 journey and where you are today, and we'll get to the manifesto shortly.
Thank you. So I'm David Indom, class of 1994. I was in Better Snake's house, Upper Dome. And in my professional life, I'm an IT professional. And I've grown through the ranks from the IT industry. Now I'm a project manager. I'm a practitioner in project management and also in IT service delivery. And I'm also certified to build data centers and to do a lot of ICT works. In the mobile circles, I am the Vice President for MOBA 1994, a position I've held for about 10 years. I've also been on council for the same period. So that's about 10 years being on council. And with works that I've done to assist in the fraternity, it's been quite a number, which I'll try and mention just a few.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
So,
thank you, Mr. 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘. My name is Joseph Benjamin Datson, Battlesleaf, middle floor, A2. My 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 journey began in 1997 when my father of 74-year group and my grandfather of 48 group brought me to the speech day of Kofi Annan during the time. That was JSS 1. I was in Christ the King International School, Cantonments. I never intended being in Mfantsipim. But after I left the hills, I was destined in 2 years' time, I was supposed to be here. So after 99, wrote by BEC, had 9 ones, entered in Mfantsipim, did 2.5 years, finished with August 2002, and then afterwards went to University of Ghana, Legon. Now fast track, after University of Ghana, completed in 2007. I then, with the motivation I had back in Mfantsipim, I was the founding president of my year group for 15 years, and I mobilized the boys through 2012, and I most appreciate the efforts from Senior Creech, 92, Ambassador Wa, 62, and Captain Yamwa, 72. They molded us in 2012 so that we could also perform then and perform last year as well. That was our speech day, where we also performed to make sure the water project was done. So basically, that has been my journey till now. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘. My name is Frederick Yao Ankoman, and I'm coming from the 203 year group. I entered 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 in 2001 and I was in Pickard Parker House. I'm in the House of Gentlemen. I was a science student, in Science 3, the best class then when we were in school. And after I left Mfantsipim, I continued, at KNUST, where the first batch of aerospace engineering students that graduated in 2008. And so I am an engineer by profession. Unfortunately, I had to disappoint my dad by not becoming a pilot, because he himself is a civil engineer, and I had a passion, for construction. So I decided to set up my own construction company. So I'm currently the CEO of Nikon Global Construction Limited, and we are into retrofitting of damaged buildings. We do road constructions, and then we do renovation of private and governmental buildings. I joined the council 2 years ago, and I've been on since. I'm currently the project manager managing the 2023 SYG, responsible for construction of the athletic oval track. And I think that the track records are there for everybody to see. So in a nutshell, this is 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘. Thank you very much.
Good. So let's give these gentlemen a round of applause. We salute them for wanting to give service to our old school. I think the procedure is we will do a balloting. Tell us how it works. Why don't you? Yeah, go ahead.
By no way of order, I didn't know how you arranged the seating, but then it looks like it started from the senior to the juniors. So we'll go through the balloting that way, from the senior most to the junior. We have 3 slots here. You pick one, and then at the end of the day, you open and show to all of us that is the number that you have on the ballot paper. This is being done because this position is being voted for. Yesterday, it wasn't done because the candidates came unopposed. So without wasting much time, we call on the senior most, David, pick one, Papi, and then the last one. And then the number you pick, you show it to all of us. Senior Achu will record. So it's in the same order, the same sequence, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you very much.
And tell us how, so old boys are going to vote on the 1, 2, 3 on the ballot like so.
Yes, so on the ballot paper, we'll have David Indom at number 1, Papi Datsun at number 2, and Fred Ankoma at number 3. Their pictures will be there, so you will not miss it.
Okay,
we will not change any on the paper that day.
All right. And as our old boy said, we are voting today. I think we're taking 2 people here to represent the year group.
So the vote is next week.
But not today. I'm just saying,
okay.
The idea is when we vote, it will be 2 people who will be representing the year group. So one of these fine gentlemen will sadly have to wait another turn. So let's get going. We've got the ballot numbers, and I guess we'll start in the order that we began. So we want to hear a little bit about why you are running for this position. What do you see as the need you feel you can fill, and why you are uniquely positioned and prepared to meet that need, and how are you going to work with the other members of the Executive Council to make that happen? David, go ahead. You've got 10 minutes.
Thank you. I'm sure I'll be done in less than 10. So, as I mentioned earlier on, I have quite a good record working with council. So I have been on council for about 10 years. I believe that I'm hardworking, so most of the time when I come, I do help with things, organizations. From, I would say, 2013, I haven't missed a speech day. And every year I attend. And when I go, I don't just attend for attending sake, but I go and I help out. So I'm one of the team that will go early enough Wednesday, just to go through all the process and help council and the secretariat in getting things done. I also say that I am pretty much accessible, so when there is a need for anything and I'm called upon, I don't relent at all. I do my best to give my all to make sure that I give back to the school. And in all this, it shows how dedicated I am also to the school and to my work. As I mentioned, professionally, what I do needs also quite some dedication. And in the same vein, I put that also to the MOBA fraternity. One other thing too is that I'm pretty much an open person, so I like to make sure that things are stated as it is and the records are stated as clearly as possible. So even though I am the vice president, I still try to make sure that all the books are kept quite well and everything is made as transparent as possible, so that boys will be encouraged to do what they need to do. So in that aspect too, I know that I do well in that. I am also one person also that don't leave things to chance or don't leave things to last minutes. I try to make sure that things are done on time and in the right way. So these things I'm going to bring onto the table. Now also in our year group, we happen to have the two old system and a new system bridging together. And when previously the groups were meeting separately, and it is through my efforts I tried to make sure that we come together, and God being so good, I've managed to put all the two, the old system and the new system, both of us together so that we can work towards a common goal. Now, aside this, in working also, I've had quite a lot of things, experience in working with the current regime of council, and also to ensure that council business runs. And with this, when COVID came, there was lockdown, and then there was an issue of how council business will continue. After a few discussions, I offered to support council by creating the Zoom account, which we actually still use, and that account is still under my name. Well, not technically. I still fund and support the council on that account. So I already have, a good relationship with the council processes. So it is one of the things that I know that when I'm giving the nod, it will help me to be able to, push to get this done on council. On the year group front, there's been quite a lot of things that we've also done together. Aside regular sponsoring year group activities, I've been able to manage and put boys together. We've done quite a few things on the side, one of which we donated computers to the school. And this went into the school library and also to the MIS department. So we donated about 10 computers with printers and UPS for the school to use in the library and the MIS department. Not only that, after, I think in 2017, afterwards, we noticed that the records in the school had, there wasn't a lot of storage for them, so all the documents were, just lying on the tables. So I came back, came to my year group, organized, And then we went back again and donated 15 lockable cabinets and 2 other big lockable cabinets for the use of the school library. And this I know currently is being used, and we've been advocating for a bigger space for the library so that that can also be used. And currently, due to that, there have been a little bit of an allocation. So now there are 2 rooms being used for the school records. A couple of years ago, just after COVID, we went back again, and there was a need to look at how to keep the records itself as well. So I have put together a few old boys, especially in my year group, those in the IT profession, to look at how we would digitize the records. So we've started putting a few things together to do the back-end software that we'll need to be able to digitize the school records. And that is currently ongoing. And we are also working hand in hand with Senior Agon of, I think, 76. He's also doing the school digitization there. So we are working hand in hand so that we can use some of his systems so that we will be able to manage things for the school. So I will say that with this, for now, I think that I'm ready, if given the nod, to be able to come on to the next level, to be able to help and move MOBA and the school forward. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, David. We move on to Joe. Why do you want to take this assignment, and what do you think the needs are that you are uniquely suited to address, working with other year groups?
Thank you, Senior Awoche. In my campaign, which began on 1st October, my basic 4 principles to attain this goal are cooperation, being supportive, collaboration, and being synergistic. These 4 are my golden pillars that will make me achieve what we want for the new NEC coming. And why do I say this? I'm happy to see my father here. I'm happy to see my sister here. I'm happy to see the gay year presidents of my year group here. These are people I invited personally to support me because they know how much I love the school. I would do anything for the school. One thing I want to ring a bell in every old boy's mind is that 2nd week in November should be put on your calendar as a vacation time in Cape Coast. It should ring in your mind that weekend you cannot be anywhere else but in Cape Coast. These days, most of the young ones, people are clashing weddings, funerals, not the Datsun family. You will never have a funeral on the 2nd week in November. Never. Never. It will not happen. We'll push the dates. We need that to ring in everybody's mind. We need to set a calendar by December 15th. Once we are elected, a calendar for next year has to be rolled out. Everybody must have that calendar on your Google map, and we are going. With David on board, if he wins, we should have an Mfantsipim app rolling. It's been too late since 2015. Why hasn't it happened? Why? We should have an app. I saw Senior Butler's bag. An African, if anybody has a chance to see Senior Butler before going out, have a look at his pouch. It's an African pouch. I'll ask him where he got it from, because we need that pouch in our crest design. Red and black holding it. These are the things that we need to roll out, because the younger ones are looking up to us. And for me, what I love about what the current NEC have done is made sure that we have progressed, especially with council, to a laid-back position where things are moving. But things are difficult now. We are now about to enter into a 5 million kilometer race, and we have to run it in 2 hours. We need a certain group of people to be in that race. So please, if you cannot run that race, you need to rest. And because we have the men who can run the race. Yesterday we saw a few of them. On 26th, the year groups will make a choice about who we need. I'm a proud old boy, and thanks to my father, I traced my roots back to the faithful eight. My great-grandfather is James Nsifo. His son was James Nsifo, 1961, and that's my grand-uncle. So it runs in the family. Larry Otu, 81, is my uncle. 78, Francis Otu is my uncle. I have so many. And my grandfather even sponsored a 92-year group. He's called 𝗟𝗓𝗪. He's a Liberian. And he gives so much reverence to our family for the support he's done. And when I look at all the lives that have been changed for my family members and friends, I started to think 3 years back that no, if I'm now that I'm an insurance broker, if I'm now going to be doing business with people, I might as well be doing it with my core group in Mfantsipim. If we are going to grow, this is what benefits it, especially the young ones. The Gen Zs are enormous. From the year 2000 to 2013, in fact to 2020, it's amazing. Today we are in the science and maths quiz. Look at the euphoria it has exploded. Kofi Hensel of 2001 group, congratulations to him. He has reached of 1,025 participants now. Whilst yesterday I posted the three of us, our pictures on the page. Nobody didn't mind our pictures. They were just discussing customized quiz. Supporting, we don't even talk about Wesley girls, it's about Mfantsipim winning. Today, honestly, should have been cancelled. We should have had this session tomorrow and made sure 5:30 they are seated and waiting to watch the boys. Because the amazing things that Presec does for their boys,
we have not reached that level yet. But God willing, we will get there. So let us take Mfantsipim serious. And financially, let me include financially. Currently, we have one Momo account, MTN, and one EcoBank account that we year groups can pay into. It's not enough. We need a dollar, pound, and euro account. We need insurance welfare policies for year groups, but we need a major one for MOBA national, the year groups. We shouldn't pack it. We should drive it. And I've assured Major Sam of 61, yes, my insurance broker. In my head, my dad, but for this, I will not take a commission if that year group insurance policy is done. That commission will be directed back into the coffers of MOBA national, because you are serving your boys. You do not benefit from your boys. We are talking about cooperation along 60-year groups. We are not playing. And we need to shake the foundations of this country. Finally, we need to take the school back. That is my major reason why I am joining this race. Before we are 150 years, government must give this school back to Mfantsipim. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senior. First of all, when I heard Senior Papi talk about the fact that, he had family and friends, it just dawned on me that he's going to run some family and friends, our first year. Just by the way. All right. So I think that all of us seated here, really have the school at heart, and I think that we are all able and capable to kind of champion, the kind of visions that we have in order to help, the NEC to run MOBA effectively. From where I'm coming from as an engineer and an entrepreneur, I have identified some key schematic areas that I want to focus on. First of all, has to do with the projects that we run as SYGs. I think that for some time now, we've realized that we go to the school, we do projects, and then we just abandon the projects. First of all, we need to have some facility, maintenance management sort of in place to help us, monitor and then take care of the projects that we give to the school. Very important. Classical example is the basketball courts and then the astroturfs that we have, nicely built for the school. You go and then you see that they are fast deteriorating because we don't actually have any maintenance scheme, any facilities, management, scheme in place. When voted, I think that one of the things that I'm going to do is to try to have, a facilities maintenance, scheme in place to oversee some of these maintenance challenges that we have in the school. Because you realize that if we decide to pump in a lot of money and we sit back and won't, let, these projects that we give to the school really stand the test of time, then I think that we might as well not even do it for the school in the first place. So that's very key. And so as somebody in the construction industry, it is on my heart that I'm going to steer this affair to ensure that any SYG that puts any project, in the school must, make sure that it is well catered for so I can, stand the test of time. Secondly, I think over the years we've been trying to set up an endowment fund. I think since 2016 this idea was born. Until now, the endowment fund has not seen the day of light. I think that coming on board, we have modeled this as 2003 year group. We've started something we call a MOBA 03 fund, where we had some trustees coming together to contribute and then start a fund that will help we ourselves as MOBA 2003. I think that the endowment fund is long overdue, and we really have to kickstart and let it have. I mean, we all talk about taking back the school. How do you take back the school if you don't have anything? If you don't have any money to run, the affairs of the school? I think that this endowment fund, when properly enrolled, would help us to gather some funds to be able to run the affairs of MOBA and the school at large. I mean, if you look at the kind of population that we have in the school, it's mind-blowing. The school keeps on increasing in terms of numbers, yet we don't have the infrastructure to even accommodate its numbers. And if we really want to, as MOBA, take the school back from the government, then we really have to think outside the box and know how we're going to get money to run the school, if that is what we want. And I support that cause. But trust me, it's not going to be easy, because the government also feels that, hey, Mfantsipim is a brand, and out there, they won't just let it go like that. And so there will be that struggle. But if we are, well and good to show our financial muscles to the school or to the government that we are capable of, taking it back, I'm pretty sure that we will win that fight. So that will be another area that I think that coming to council and NEC as a body, I will spearhead for that endowment fund to roll out ASAP for us to, get some funds to help, run the school's activities. I think that apart from the fact that I'm an engineer, I also run a pharmaceutical business, and the infirmary is on my heart. We put up a very nice infirmary, and when you go, it's very sad. I have, the vision of trying to assist the school infirmary to put up certain structures to make sure that at every point in time we have what it takes to run the infirmary, i.e. drugs, personnel to offer services on time basis to the school. Fortunately for me, my wife is a pharmacist, so I can always cajole her to get me personnel to assist the infirmary run properly. I think that what we have gotten to as MOBA, we really have to try to bridge the gap between the old and then the new. When I say the old and new, I'm saying that for our senior colleagues spanning from 50 years and above or below, and then the newer generations, the 2000s, I think that there's a wide gap between these year groups. And it's my vision to try to, bridge this gap by trying to let my colleagues understand that, hey, we need to tap something from the older, year groups. How can we do this? We can try to do this by, organizing some fraternity, meetings. We can do this through sports, which, my year group does. There's this Mfantsipim, Adisado, Presec, and then Accra Academy, which we call the MOBA Mania, which we do every year. I mean, sports, like we want to do this 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center of Excellence, is what we are trying to, portray to the entire world. And so if you have all these edifices, in Cape Coast and in Mfantsipim, and we don't even have that collaboration amongst, the year groups, I think that the idea would have been defeated. So we should try and bridge, the old with the new. And I think that once that is done, we'll be able to understand the dynamics of how, MOBA works, and the fact that when, there's any opportunity for the younger generation to also take up some of these mantles, we will, avail ourselves and, take up such challenges. I mean, it's very sad that our vice secretary position is not even contested. It's not opposed. It tells you how, to some extent, the thing is very unattractive. I felt that even with this decade block, where we have chunk of, or majority of, the newer generation falling from 2000 up to 2013. If you look at the numbers, I think we outweigh, or we outnumber the older generation. And it's so sad that we are only 3 contesting for that decade block. I would want to push, when elected, that we should try to even add up onto the numbers. Because 2 people represented that year group, to me, can never suffice. We can't run that, kind of system. Because the numbers are huge, and we need a lot of efforts to put in there. Sometimes, we sit and we talk, we put stuff on paper, but the actual work has to, be on the ground. How do you try to, mobilize all these people together and make sure that we run an effective, national council? So, given the nod, I think that with these few points that I've raised, I believe that it will go a long way to help, council and then NEC as a body. Thank you very much.
So thank you, gentlemen. So I think this is a time for an advert. Is that correct? Are we going to get an advert?
Is an opportunity to leave a lasting legacy in Mfantsipim. Secure your plaque for recognition on the 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence retaining wall by the extended deadline of October 31st, 2023. Please note, payments made from now to 31st does not guarantee inclusion by speech day due to the necessary construction time. Nevertheless, your name would eventually appear on the retaining wall. Kindly contact your year group president for details. The 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence retaining wall is an opportunity to leave a lasting legacy in Mfantsipim. Secure your plaque for recognition on the 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence retaining wall by the extended deadline of October 31st, 2023. Please note, payments made from now to 31st does not guarantee inclusion by speech day due to the necessary construction time. Nevertheless, your name would eventually appear on the retaining wall. Kindly contact your year group president for details.
Seventh annual fundraising dinner dance. The time is 6 p.m. sharp. Theme: the role of digital technology in redefining quality and sustainable education in Ghana. This is another call to gather and have fun whilst we raise funds to support the 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence. Tell a MOBA to tell a MOBA. Bring a friend of the school to party the evening away. Our ladies from Central Region Schools will be there. Come have loads of fun as we prepare for our big day on the hills on November 11, 2023. We have the Clockside Band and DJ Bobo on the ones and twos. For your tickets, call Dean on 0244-838363 or Blacker 0246-484818. Sponsors: Goyle, Paralegate Event Center, Yaks Lodge, DVLA, Guinness Ghana Limited, Denacort Limited, Mansipia Christie Limited, and Wellam Limited. Pex Limited, Passion Air. Media partners: Joy FM, Class FM, Aquaba Radio, Virginia, USA. Yen Nananumbu Taipa, 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 Gimshe.
Good, I think we're back. So we had a good sense of our 3 candidates in the last 20 odd minutes. So now we have questions. I'll lead off, but maybe we'll get some questions from the floor. Maybe, I'm not sure. Let me start with you, David. Clearly, you've been involved in the Old Boys Association. You attended speech days, helped us with the Zoom account. I heard a couple of things from your colleagues about endowment fund and taking back the school. Is that a priority of yours? And what other priorities do you have? You'll give me, if that's one, tell us, is that something we can do? How do we go about it? And then tell us also maybe 2 other things you feel are very important from your point of view.
Right, thank you. Well, one of the things that my colleagues here mentioned was the SYG structure and the need to complete a project when it is started. I believe that switching to the SYG structure was basically to solve that problem. So it's to ensure that no project is left unfinished. And that is why this year in 2003 SYGs, we know for sure that they will not be able to finish the territorial tracks, which you are the project manager. And SYG 24 is going to pick up that mantle to continue. Now, MOBA 94, that is what we are going to do. So we are not going to say that we want our own projects, but because of the way the SYG structure is made, it puts us on, on your back to finish your project. So I think that the SYG system is key, and it was put in place to solve that problem. The pending projects that have not been completed were projects that came in, solo or before that. So I think that, the issue of not completing projects should not happen going forward. Now, the issue of the endowment fund, I think it's a very critical need as well. And I believe that some funds have been raised and funds are still being raised for the endowment fund. And the way Mfantsipim fraternity is, I think that we need to also make sure that the structures have been put in place well before the endowment fund kicks in. I also agree to the fact that sometimes we need to be able to support old boys in a lot of ways. But we need to make sure that the primary care, in quotes, will have to be falling on the year group level. So having now be able to do decade groups, we should be able to put ourselves together and be able to have a better relationship so that we'll be able to, move across and help other, year groups. And being on a decade group will also gives us a better position to be able to come to NEC to request or make sure that policies are done or geared towards our interests. So that is what I would say about some of the things that they had mentioned. Now, for me, the key thing is to make sure that even though we had mentioned about national science and maths quiz, etc., even though it gives the bragging rights and everything, one of the key things we need to do is to make sure that we are sensitizing the students, we are encouraging the teachers, and making sure that the teaching and all the things that is needed is done across board, not only a small section who belongs to the National Science and Maths Quiz Club. So that at the end of the day, the numbers we should be more interested in should be the percentage of students that are making the grades when they finish the school, and the percentage of students that are able to move forward in getting things done. So I believe that with the endowment fund coming in place and everything, if we are able to get students, to pass and pass well, then we'll be able to say that, okay, then let's see how best we can help the students to be able to move on. So it's one of the key things that, I would like to see that it is done, just to make sure that the teachers and the students are encouraged and they are given all the needs and the motivation that they need to be able to study or execute their studies, and at the end of the day, having a better passing position for Mfantsipim. Thank you.
All right, David, thank you for that. Let's move on to Joe. I love your passion and your family tree. You mentioned that we are at a point where we're on a very long journey that we have to take. And what I heard you say is we are not ready for it. Maybe explain that a little bit. Or are we ready for it? And what is that journey that you feel MOBA has to take? I think you made that point. We're on a very long journey. Tell us the key areas in that journey that you feel we need to be aware of and you will be helping us address.
Okay. So basically, I think if I should just take you back a little bit, what I said was we are about to make a 5 million kilometer journey in 2 hours. In 2 hours. And now this 5 million kilometer journey is going to be run by a certain crop of people, and that's the new neck.
And why 2 hours?
Thank you very much. So those who understand, you have to calculate that. And I'm relating this to the athletic oval. It's the track. Everything we are doing, we are marking time. Why 2 hours? That is a deadline that we've set. That you have to now do your own calculation that how many laps can I do to make sure I achieve that 5 million kilometers. So it's something that you have to ponder about. You can't answer that question now. And you can't answer that question alone. You should answer that question as a team. We need to answer that question with our 𝗟𝗡𝗩, with our vice, and with all the other decade groups. That is how we answer that question. I cannot answer that question alone. I need to do that with the team.
Okay. But surely you have some sense of priorities, 1, 2, 3. If they said to you, Joe, what do you say are the 1, 2, 3 priorities you feel you should share with NEC? What would they be?
So the first priority is finances. I feel that we have a lot of lost opportunities now. I think I mentioned it earlier. One major lost opportunity that we have is making sure that we are not having multiple streams of receiving money into MOBA National. For a long time, we've only been dealing, why can't we do Vodafone? Why can't we do Airtel Tigo money? Why can't we have a dollar account? Why can't we have a CD account? We have MOBA USA and MOBA UK that have tap, and wave, and all the other modes of payment. We can easily use our old boys to make sure that we centralize all these accounts, and all this can aid to boost, improve the revenue for the endowment fund. So that's one major thing for finance. So it's financial. Second, fostering the unity among the year groups, very key. Currently, right now, we have a few year groups who have not paid up to be able to stand for elections. Why? Because there's no fostering within the year groups. I'll ask myself this. How many times have MOBA National gone across all year groups from 1947 just to visit them, just to see how they are doing? It's a big job. It's not easy. I can't imagine 𝗟𝗡𝗩 Captain retired Fojo going all around. MOBA Ashanti, MOBA Western. It is not an easy job. But there's something that we need to make sure we begin to make sure that we bridge the gap across all the year groups. I'm happy also that 2012 is here. Usually you won't have the younger year groups also here. But it's lovely to see that, and hopefully they'll also be online watching and trying to understand. And like Fred said, we didn't have a single rep from 2004 to 2013 standing. Not a single member. What does that tell you? We have a lot of work to do with fostering unity. And this has to, and it also showed at the Santa Barbara Games just passed in October, a lot of the younger ones were not there as we expected. But our brothers on the other side of the hill had so many of them. So we need to work on the fostering aspect. Thirdly, we need to have more events.
So how do you do that? How do you work on it? What do you do?
On the fostering of the unity?
Yeah.
No, so I think the first I was saying about visiting year groups. We need to have a committee. Solely their main aim is to visit the year groups. You check on them. I mean, this campaign has taught me a lot. I've got a lot of older year boys in the 40s. They're so happy that they're even called. Some say, oh, I used to receive texts. So, oh, don't worry, they'll be sending it. But that's the thing. If you have a dedicated committee working on making sure that they check on the year groups, it brings a sense of patriotism back. And that's what I believe that will aid in bringing more of the boys back. And like I said, finally, third is the events. When you go back into history, you see that initially the former NEC used to have MOBA annual cocktails. It's something that I don't know if I haven't been to one before. I'm sure the older year groups may have. But these are some of the events that maybe we'll love to do and add the younger year groups into, and then put them into committees so that they can also do. And one thing that I'd like to mention kudos again to is Kofi SL 2001 year group, by forming 3 particular year groups, WhatsApp platforms, MOBA Job Center, MOBA Marketplace, and MOBA Chat House. These 3 groups have given so many boys the opportunity to do business together, the opportunity to see people, and thankfully there are sometimes levels of respect, but it shows you the opportunity that we would have had if you had started early. But it's never too late on this and see how best going forward make the best out of the opportunity.
All right, thank you, Joe. Fred, well, what do you think of what Joe has said? And you had also talked of getting the old and the new together. Would you do something different, or what are the additional things you would be doing to foster the kind of unity? You talked about sports. Tell us the things that you think we should be doing that we're either not doing or we're not doing enough.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wachi. I think that I greatly agree with what my senior brother said, and I think we share in the same opinion. It's important that as soon as practicable, we have a committee that will oversee some of these visitations by year groups. You see, we have created the year groups and we've made them dormant. Okay, and so we really have to make sure that the year groups are functioning properly. And so in order to do this, we have to have a committee that will, will be in charge of, the welfare of all these year groups. Like he said, I mean, NEC alone cannot even do that. I mean, it's too huge a tax for even NEC to even handle. And so I think that there's a collective effort for all of us to try to come together. I mean, for us as a year group, 2003, my president will bear me witness. We try to, check on, every member of the group. We have tried to segregate, the group down to the class levels. And so you have 2003, and then there are the sub-classes, with class reps trying to, make sure that all the members in the group are all, very together, so that, I mean, when there's any information dissemination, it trickles down to the least person. I think that if we are really championing, this fraternity, we have to get the numbers. And so in getting the numbers, we have to get a committee in place to, have this oversight responsibility. And of course, yes, through sports. I mean, sports is one of the integral ways that we can, foster unity. And I believe that over the years, the MOBA Mania has really helped a lot. It has brought together, not even in Mfantsipim alone, but other schools. There's always this annual ritual that we have. And I think that if we replicate same within MOBA, we should be able to at least get that unity, at every point in time. I mean, the program that we had recently was very appalling. I mean, Santa MOBA Games, which has been happening every year. I mean, the enthusiasm and, the kind of, advertising that went into it, I wouldn't say it was a bit, too slow or too shallow, but at least if we did more of that, within the year, I believe that it will bring all of us together and it will foster, the kind of unity that we want. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We spent a lot of time talking about the MOBA network and what we can do with the year groups. Let's talk about the school itself. all of this is presumably for the school. David, tell me, what do you see are the school's biggest needs at this time that we should be talking about? We talked about the network, what we should do to foster this, that, and everything else. What about the school itself? What are the key areas you feel we need to be talking about at the NEC?
Right, thank you. I think I mentioned a little bit in my earlier submission. The key things there are to ensure that the teachers and staff are properly motivated. I think we try and put in a few things earlier on to make sure that the teachers are doing what they need to do. I think that we need to improve on that.
Can you elaborate? What are those things to motivate the teachers?
So, even though we have currently almost every SYG now will do a teachers and staff appreciation, but I think that we should also encourage them more to look at how their students are also performing, and also, you know, motivate them in that direction. Because currently it's just looking at, okay, the best master and whatnot, but we should be able to, you know, put in a few more criteria so that we will be able to use the performance of their students to gauge their performance. So that is one of the things that I think that we should be able to put in place. The other thing is to, which currently is being done quietly on the side, is to be able to improve on how the teaching goes. We've done some work. They've been changing some of the boards to electronic boards, and there is online teaching that is going on, etc. I think that if we are able to look at improving that structure using technology now, we should be able to, you know, help the students to be able to get more access to teaching and learning materials faster, so that they will be able to use that to their advantage, and at the end of the day, you know, be able to give us the grades that we need as Mfantsipim.
Okay. I'm going to jump to Fred for a change. You talked about infrastructure. You said something very good about maintenance, that we're not doing enough. In terms of the school, what would you say are those top 3 areas that we need to be focusing in at the school level?
Thank you very much, Mr. 𝗟𝗓𝗓. I think that first of all, we need to look at the numbers, you know, that we kind of admit. I think for some time now, there's been that infiltration. Okay, for instance, if we decide to pick maybe a certain number of students for a particular year, we have to make sure that we don't try to, you know, get some, you know, other influences from certain quarters. Okay, we should try to have a certain number of students that would, you know, admit at any point in time. Because you see, when you try to admit a lot of people without infrastructure, they're just trying to collapse a system. So I believe that, you know, these protocols that come in, you know, maybe to admit maybe 300, you end up admitting about 1,000 students, and then there's always, you know, that chaos in the school. We really have to address that kind of, you know, situation.
How do we do that?
I think that we need to engage, whether the Ministry of Education, maybe the government, to stand on our grounds. That, you see, Mfantsipim has, you know, a certain, you know, quality, and in order to ensure this, we have to try to let, you know, the system work such that we are getting, you know, the qualified people that actually, you know, deserve to go to the school. Of course, I mean, there can be some protocols here and there, but I'm saying that we should try to tone down on the number of protocols that come in. I mean, it's all about engaging, you know, the stakeholders in the system. The Ghana Education Service, the government, you know, the Methodist Church, we are all stakeholders in this business. And so even MOBA, as an association, has a part to play. I mean, what kind of people are MOBA even, you know, sending to the school in terms of protocol list here and there? So we need to engage more on this and try to, you know, shut down the numbers so that we don't put pressure on the infrastructure. Other than that, what we always will do is we just pile up the numbers, and then we have little to always show for at the end of the year. So I believe that we have to, you know, have that kind of engagement to get the numbers right, so that we'll be able to, contain them and be able to manage them. Because, I mean, during our time, some of the classes were from 40, per class. I'm pretty sure by now the numbers have ballooned. And to have maybe 50, people to a teacher, controlling and even marking strips here and there will be a difficulty. Yesterday, one of our seniors made mention of that. And I think that is very critical because, I mean, if you have a certain number of students in the class that cannot be controlled, it becomes very problematic. And so we really have to look at it as NEC, as MOBA, how we'll be able to, clamp down on these numbers that get into the school. One area is also to make sure that if we intend to add on to the infrastructure, then there has to be, that consistent effort. That once we start any infrastructure, we finish it on time. You go to the school and there are some abandoned projects, some from Get Fund, some, I don't know.
Whose fault is that?
Partly government, but if MOBA wants to, really get involved, then we can also engage and make sure that, all these projects that have been started are completed. Because eventually, if we want to increase the numbers, then we will need, the infrastructure. So I'm saying that we have to engage, the stakeholders properly, that any kind of infrastructure that is started is completed, on time, on schedule, so that we will be able to absorb, some of these challenges. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Fred. Joe, what do you make of what Fred said? We're talking about the school requirements. We mentioned infrastructure. Do you agree? What would you do differently?
I think totally agree with Fred. Thankfully, I must commend Fred this year. He's been one of the key members of the 2023 year group, visiting Cape Coast every month this year, from February to date. Even when he left the country, he was still in touch. I think I must say you have done a very good job. And he's brought the meaning to making sure that we need a facilities manager after. But not just a facilities manager. We need a maintenance review schedule that MOBA National will make sure they inspect. The key thing that we have right now, I must commend also our senior Bediakon, who donated us a bus. He gave the bus, one to Ashmata School and one to Mfantsipim. Now that bus is run by MOBA National. The school doesn't run that bus. And I was very happy that the school had to take that bus to Kumasi. We wanted to go for an event. And they called that, they need money to go and do servicing. MOBA National said, please, that bus is supposed to go to Toyota. Come out. You see that it goes to Kumasi, it goes to Takadi. Don't bring any invoice. And that display from the MOBA National, I loved it. Because you do not want to take any Tom, Dick, and Harry from any garbage mechanic, please. The instructions are insurance and roadworthy is all life paid by our senior old boy. The maintenance is done by Gamut, no other company. And now, today, that bus is running perfect. We can't sack the maintenance manager at Mfantsipim because he's under GES. That is our problem. I was campaigning 2 weeks ago, 2005, lost an old boy in Cape Coast. After the campaign, I went to the school to see how things were going. And my senior creature is here at 92. I had to give an update. They've broken the valves. And I asked the guy, why? Oh, Sana, you can't do anything. Because we don't employ him. It's GS. And they can't sack him. There's no KPIs or performance appraisal that he's going to go through. But if Mfantsipim was private, he's gone in a second. He's gone. Because we don't want square pegs and round holes. And my main point, welfare. I have a very special relationship with all the 4 headmasters, Very Reverend Edu and the 3 assistants. I investigated and realized welfare, like David said, was key to their hearts. Because as of now, they have a welfare system, but they are even unable to pay towards it. That's their problem. When I went to Cape Coast 2 weeks ago, a maths teacher, Jennifer Arthur, her husband, she lost her husband that week. And it was sad. They were so happy, at least. I told her I paid them a visit. I told her I promised them I'll come back. And hopefully, once the 4 days is mentioned, we'll come and support. But this is the issue. I wonder if towards the welfare. So what is she going to use support in children? This is key on our hearts, and that is something we want to build. We want to assist the teacher welfare fund to make sure it's well structured. We will structure it for them, but we will structure it for them so that they can pay for it. Because they may not have the ideas to properly structure it, but we have the men, and we will make sure we do it.
All right. Okay. I think it's, we have one final session. I think we'll break for an advert or we are good. Yes, yeah. So we'll do the adverts and then final words from our candidates.
The 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence Retaining Wall is an opportunity to leave a lasting legacy in Mfantsipim. Secure your plaque for recognition on the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence Retaining Wall by the extended deadline of October 31st, 2023. Please note, payments made from now to 31st does not guarantee inclusion by speech day due to the necessary construction time. Nevertheless, your name would eventually appear on the retaining wall. Kindly contact your year group president for details.
Fellas, are you ready to party? Then polish your shoes, practice your new dance moves, get your wives and partners ready, cause it's going down on Saturday, November 4, 2023 at the Pearly Gate Event Center, Boundary Road, East Legon. MOBA is inviting you to its 147th annual fundraising dinner dance. The time is 6 p.m. sharp. Theme, the role of digital technology in redefining quality and sustainable education in Ghana. This is another call to gather and have fun whilst we raise funds to support the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence. Tell a MOBA to tell a MOBA. Bring a friend of the school to party the evening away. Our ladies from Central Region Schools will be there. Come have loads of fun as we prepare for our big day on the hills on November 11, 2023. We have the Clockside Band and DJ Bobo on the ones and twos. For your tickets, call Dean on 0244-838363 or Blacker 0246-484818. Sponsors, Goyle, Pearly Gate Event Center, Yachts Lodge, DVLA, Guinness Ghana Limited, Denacot Limited, Mansipia Christie Limited, Awelam Limited, Busters Apex Limited, Passion Air. Media partners, Joy FM, Class FM, Aquaba Radio, Virginia, USA. Yen nananumbu taipa, 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Ginship.
So we're going to invite a few questions from the floor, just one or two, before we close off. I believe Bishop has some questions. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Awachim. I'm Jeremiah Morrison, MOBA 72, Freeman Agri, Apado. Among other things, I was also chaplain 81 to 84 back in the school. Mr. Datsun made a statement, maybe personally that's not what he meant. He said that should... No, your name. Mr. Indo, he said should Mr. Indom win, he will bring him and his people on board to do some IT program. So I just told Senior Butler that what about if he doesn't win? I think that what he meant was that he will bring on board everybody. Because if he doesn't win, then that doesn't mean that you're not going to make use of his knowledge. That is one thing. Then my son is Jeremiah MOBA 2012. I was sad when I saw that MOBA 2012 had been disqualified because they had not paid their dues. Now we're talking about involving everybody on board. So what are you going to do to ensure that even MOBA 2023 is on board? That for now, this is what I'll ask.
I think we'll give that to Joe. Go ahead.
Thank you, Senior Jeremiah. Yes, I think I'll start the first one, saying that regarding David, whether he wins or not, whether he wins or I don't win, I'll still push, because the good thing is that we are still on council, so I will still push that he does the Mfantsipim map and all other IT things that we want to come on. So that one, yes, I agree with you on that one. Now, secondly, On the disqualification of the other 2012-year group. So that's where my comment about the visitation committee comes into play. That's what my committee, because basically you have to visit all the year groups. Currently, I am waiting for 2004 to give me a date so I can meet them. I know, but I'm just giving you an example. I am waiting for them. I am lobbying, and they are telling me I should hold on. They will give me a date to meet them. And basically, they were impressed. Their mates died in a gas explosion. I was the only old boy out of 2004 at that funeral. No other one was there. And they were so happy that I was there. At the very time, I told them I will be there because one, my mate also, that was my mate's brother. But I told him that I was trying to support them. And for 2004, for instance, that year is special to me because of my father. So I don't play with the force at all. So next year, you will see me running with them to raise money and to make sure that we finish the project on time. Thank you.
So let's ask the other two, how are we dealing with those who are not represented?
All right, thank you very much. I think that, like Senior said, we really have to let the groups who are not in tune with what we are doing understand the need of why they have to even pay dues in the first place. Because most of them don't really feel, entitled to what we are doing. And so once we let them understand, because sometimes you go for programs which are fully sponsored, you ask yourself, where's the money coming from? It's actually coming from, the association. So once you are a part of the association, there's a need for you to, contribute, your quota to support whatever agenda that the association has. And all these things can be done through, constant reminders. I think that, once we have the year group presidents and then the NEC reps, with us, we will be able to, let them understand that there's a need for them to, bring all their members on board and let them understand the need why they are supposed to pay for a certain levy or not. So I think that constant engagement, must always be at play. And like he said, when there's a committee that ensures that, we have constant visitation, constant, meetups, that will, foster that unity. And I think that it will make them realize that there's a need for us to always, contribute to the fraternity. Thank you very much.
Well, I will add that the year groups that are not covered, we put in a strategy to make sure that they are still, or they still maintain the group, or they are together. Even though we have the rule that, you need to wait till you are officially, inaugurated, I think what we need to do is that right from the beginning, when they are leaving school, we try and put them together so that they could still act on their own as a group, keep in touch and communicate and do things for themselves, encourage them to be going back to the school, because it's you going back to the hill after you have finished the school that gingers that spirit of belonging to the MOBA fraternity. So even though they may not be officially inaugurated, we should encourage them to be able to keep the group together. Thankfully now, because of WhatsApp and whatnot, we could get them to keep on having them a group on their own. So officially they are, inaugurated into the fraternity. That way they will have developed a bond, they would have been together, they wouldn't have lost contact, that it makes it easier for them to do things for themselves and eventually for the school. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're mindful of time. We'd like to close off. So 1 minute each. Any final thoughts for the audience and those online? Start with you, David. Any final thoughts, things you'd like us to remember you by?
Right, thank you. I was just going to just take a minute, a portion of my minutes to add up to the infrastructure issue that has been raised. I think that the problem exists because we having all this maintenance structure. I think that in one way or the other, if MOBA can find ways and means to look into its own fraternity so that we can have people of the right profession to assist in the maintenance of the things that MOBA puts in, that will also help to be able to, keep some of these things in place. But for me, my final word is that, as mentioned already, I am open and accessible. I'll be working with all the year groups, whether in 70s or 80s or 90s, just to make sure that, we are able to do things that are common and focus on what the fraternity needs. Whether it's been in the school educational front, whether it's been on the social front, we'll be able to work together so that we will be able to, reach out to a lot more of the MOBAs, especially on the, as we'll say, the grassroots level, so that we'll collectively be able to do things for the school. Thank you.
All right, thank you, David. Joe, what's the last thing you want us to remember you by at this session?
So I would love to just want to call out to all the year groups. Mfantsipim is the school we love, and MOBA is who we are. What we want is better school for our sons, for our grandsons. Let's put the necessary things in place so that when they leave and they become like us, they'll also naturally want to give back. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Fred.
Hello. I think that mine is just a word of encouragement to the younger ones. I think that this idea of bringing together the decade reps is so important and very crucial in the sense that it makes the younger ones now understand that we are not young per se. I mean, so once you come on board, you'll be able to also articulate, your thoughts, your ideas, and that can be picked up by Nick. You are voting for somebody who is selfless, very hardworking, and a team builder, and that is evident, in executing or managing, such a huge project. I mean, a project that my seniors, the 2002s, couldn't achieve. They had to run away from, and so we are trying our best. That was just by the way. I see Senior Creech shaking his head. That was just by the way, because I mean it's actually put a toll on us to run this project, and I believe that together we can all make the school a better one for all of us. And so I believe that let's just avail ourselves when there's a clarion call for us to pick up certain positions. Let's see ourselves as ready to fight the Mfantsipim fight, like the faithful eight. That can do spirit must be there, and I think that will be evident once we try to avail ourselves. Thank you very much.
All right, so let's give a round of applause to our three candidates. I think they've given us a feel for their ideas, their insights, their passion, and I'm sure that we will make the right choice. They all seem very worthy, and there are no losers here. And in fact, we really want to congratulate you for taking time and wanting to serve 𝗟𝗩𝗘. So thank you very much.
The 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence Retaining Wall is an opportunity to leave a lasting legacy in Mfantsipim. Secure your plaque for recognition on the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence Retaining Wall by the extended deadline of October 31st.
Fellas, Are you ready to party? Then polish your shoes, practice your new dance moves, get your wives and partners ready, cause it's going down on Saturday, November 4, 2023 at the Pearly Gate Event Center, Boundary Road, East Legon. MOBA is inviting you to its 147th annual fundraising dinner dance. The time is 6 p.m. sharp. Theme: the role of digital technology in redefining quality and sustainable education in Ghana. This is another call to gather and have fun whilst we raise funds to support the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence. Tell a MOBA to tell a MOBA. Bring a friend of the school to party the evening away. Our ladies from Central Region Schools will be there. Come have loads of fun as we prepare for our big day on the hills on November 11, 2023. We have the Clockside Band and DJ Bobo on the ones and twos. For your tickets, call Dean on 0244-838363 or Blacker 0246-484818. Sponsors: Goyle, Pearly Gate Event Center, Yax Lodge, DVLA, Guinness Ghana Limited, Denacot Limited, Mfantsipim Christian Limited, Awelam Limited, Bastards Apex Limited, Passion Air. Media partners: Joy FM, Class FM, Aquaba Radio, Virginia, USA. Yen nananumbu taipa, 𝗟𝗩𝗘 binfe.
The 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence Retaining Wall is an opportunity to leave a lasting legacy in Mfantsipim. Secure your plaque for recognition on the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence Retaining Wall by the extended deadline of October 31st, 2023. Please note, payments made from now to 31st
please move forward as much as we can
by speech day due to the necessary construction time. Nevertheless,
Are you ready to party? Then polish your shoes, practice your new dance moves, get your wives and partners ready, cause it's going down on Saturday, November 4, 2023 at the Pearly Gate Event Center, Boundary Road, East Legon. MOBA is inviting you to its 147th annual fundraising dinner dance. The time is 6 p.m. sharp. Theme: the role of digital technology in redefining quality and sustainable education in Ghana. This is another call to gather and have fun whilst we raise funds to support the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence. Tell a MOBA to tell a MOBA. Bring a friend of the school to party the evening away. Our ladies from Central Region Schools will be there. Come have loads of fun as we prepare for our big day on the hills on November 11, 2023. We have the Clockside Band and DJ Bobo on the ones and twos. For your tickets, call Dean on 0244-838363 or Blacker 0246-484818. Sponsors: Goyle, Pearly Gate Event Center, Yax Lodge, DVLA, Guinness Ghana Limited, Denacot Limited, Mfantsipim Christian Limited, Awelam Limited, Bastards Apex Limited, Passion Air. Media partners: Joy FM, Class FM, Aquaba Radio, Virginia, USA. Yen nananumbu taipa, 𝗟𝗩𝗘 binfe.
The 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence Retaining Wall is an opportunity to leave a lasting legacy in Mfantsipim. Secure your plaque for recognition on the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence retaining wall by the extended deadline of October 31st, 2023. Please note, payments made from now to 31st does not guarantee inclusion by speech day due to the necessary construction time. Nevertheless, your name would eventually appear on the retaining wall. Kindly contact your year group president for details.
Fellas, are you ready to party? Then polish your shoes, practice your new dance moves, get your wives and partners ready, cause it's going down on Saturday, November 4, 2023 at the Pearly Gate Event Center, Boundary Road, East Legon. MOBA is inviting you to its 147th annual fundraising dinner dance. The time is 6 p.m. sharp. Theme, the role of digital technology in redefining quality and sustainable education in Ghana. This is another call to gather and have fun whilst we raise funds to support the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence. Tell a MOBA to tell a MOBA. Bring a friend of the school to party the evening away. Our ladies from Central Region schools will be there. Come have loads of fun as we prepare for our big day on the hills on November 11, 2023. We have the Clocksack Band and DJ Bobo on the ones and twos. For your tickets, call Dean on 0244-838363 or Blacker 0246-484818. Sponsors, Goyle, Pearly Gate Event Center, Yaks Lodge, DVLA, Guinness Ghana Limited, Denacot Limited, Mansipia Christi Limited, Awelam Limited, Bastards Apex Limited, Passion Air. Media partners, Joy FM, Class FM, Aquaba Radio, Virginia, USA. Yenna nanumbu taipa, 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Ginshi.
The 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence retaining wall is an opportunity to leave a lasting legacy in Mfantsipim. Secure your plaque for recognition on the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence retaining wall by the extended deadline of October 31st, 2023. Please note, payments made from now to 31st does not guarantee inclusion by speech day due to the necessary construction time. Nevertheless, your name would eventually appear on the retaining wall. Kindly contact your year group president for details.
So, good evening, everybody. We're about to get started. We're starting by singing, is it 𝗟𝗩𝗘? For all the saints, verse 1. Class of 76, Good to be here. Let's invite two candidates to come up and join me. and we will get to know who they are, even though they've been telling us who they are along the way. So welcome Moses, and then welcome 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘. We've given us a bit of a preview of all the wonderful things you have done and you will do, but this is our opportunity to engage you for maybe the last time. So why don't we start with some introduction, because I think we'll do a ballot like we did the last time. So right now, just to introduce yourself very briefly, who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into the meat of it afterwards.
My name is Moses 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 Jr. MOBA 1978, 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘, Oluwadom, deputy head boy. I moved to Battlesney for a while. I'm a barrister, but I never practiced. I've been running the business for 33 years. I had only one job, founder and chief executive of the Margins Company, present in 7 countries. I just barely qualified for this 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 race, just haven't turned 40 years. So I'm probably the younger of the two. My senior boy and 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘. Thank you.
All right, Moses.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kofi 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘, MOBA 80. I was in 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘, and that's my head boy when I was in Form the 3. Right. I qualified as a chemical engineer 30-something years ago, and I've been practicing. But before then, I was a musician. I also worked in Unilever. I trained in marketing and sales and development. And then I was also a production manager and manufacturing manager and the like. And then 2011, I got a call from the Lord, and you know when God calls you, you better follow. So I went on to become a minister of the gospel, and so I've combined all these, and each of them comes with a special opportunity. And I have been president of my year group for 23 years, and I have also served council all these years. And I'm prepared to work with everybody. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. So I think it's at this point we do the balloting. So, gentleman who's helping us with the balloting, maybe you explain the process.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The unofficial EC for today. Like we did the first one, this is a voted for position, and they need to appear in order on a ballot paper so that we identify and vote for them. The first time I didn't introduce myself because I knew there would be another opportunity. So my name is Kwesi Wilson, MOBA 1994 president, also of 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 House. When the moderator said that he was from 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘, I said 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 is dominating in MOBA. So give it up for 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 House. Thank you very much. And without wasting much time, with all honest, should I start from the senior most, like Mr. Bailey said? I give it to the senior most, and then he picks his own. And then please, you show your number to us. Okay. In the first one, it went in a sequence 1, 2, 3. But in this one, it went in the reverse sequence 2 and 1. So without reading meanings into the numbers, my job is done. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Electoral Commissioner. Let's get started. First of all, I think we should thank our two colleagues for their desire to serve our old school I know they've all both done a lot for the school already, but this is a whole new assignment. And the reason why you have some distinguished old boys like Dr. Koba and Nana Butler is that this is a very important position because you represent all the old boys all over the world, not just in Ghana, but all over the world. And we, first of all, we take that role very seriously. We invest so much in what you do, and we believe hopefully you will do a very good job for us. So, but we thank you both for wishing to serve. Let's get started. I know you've shared a lot on the social media platforms, but we've got about an hour. Let's just start with broad vision, issues you see, why you are uniquely qualified to address those visions. So I'm going to give you 15 minutes, Moses.
My senior boy, the fact that you've been here all this time sitting down interviewing people shows how important this exercise is. My manifesto, as you noted, is widely shared. So let me just summarize. You know, I'm a through and through Mfantsipim boy. 6 of my father's 9 boys went to Mfantsipim. And I'm last but one, but those behind me are twins. And so Mfantsipim runs in my blood, you know. But there's nothing that MOBA has asked me or of me, or Mfantsipim has asked of me that I haven't given them from when I was in school till now. If it was defending my mates in town with my martial arts, to building a sports complex, I've done it to the best of my ability and my strength, and in all cases with devastating effects and results. So when I was chosen to be the guest speaker at the 2013 speech day, my topic was about the sustainability of second cycle institutions. So I had to write a speech, and I had to do some deep analysis. And the conclusion of that was that I didn't believe after the analysis that the Mfantsipim would survive going into the future. And I'll just give you 2 facts that brought me to that conclusion. The first one was that the Mfantsipim boys were sending their children to other schools, like SOS, International, GIS, and paying a lot of money. The second fact was that even though they were sending their children to these schools, they were not donating to those schools. I mean, MOBA boys were not giving GIS a lot of money. They were then going to Mfantsipim and donating a lot of money and time to Mfantsipim. So it tells you 2 things. Mfantsipim boys love their school. But the quality of education at this time does not meet the requirements, especially of their wives. So if they can afford it, they pay for the best education, but still express their passion for Mfantsipim. I thought this is ridiculous. Something has to give. Mfantsipim has to be the first choice for every Mfantsipim old boy. Not just that. The first choice for every enlightened Ghanaian, I dare say every enlightened African, and I dare say every enlightened person of African origin. Because in Mfantsipim, you just don't get an education. You get a spirit. And that spirit, on top of the education, it makes it possible for you to make the impossible possible and to change things. When I've sat in boardrooms all over the world, in different countries, and somebody has said something disrespectful for me, the only thing that swells my chest, what does he mean? I'm an Mfantsipim deputy head boy. It comes with something. You can't tell me that. You know, you can't say that of my daughter who went to SOS, or my son who eventually went to SOS. They have an excellent education. I know that because my daughter has been on the dean list every year. But at the end of the day, it's a dead Austrian's dream about what education should be. It will be a tragedy that after 150 years, the sacrifice of Sapa, J.P. Brown, Kesley Hayford, Koboche, the lands that the Aboriginal Rights Protection Society bequeathed on us, that we should sit here and neglect that history and send our children elsewhere. So I started to analyze the problem. And I've given you my 10 pledges, but let me summarize it. The school is funded by the government $400,000 a year, which means 10 years is $4 million. And 20 years is $8 million. 25 years is $10 million. That's why when I gave that speech, I said we should build an endowment fund for the restoration of Mfantsipim. A $10 million fund that can tell the government that, look, the money you give us, we have it for 20 years. And we, out of our ingenuity and our passion, have raised that money. We don't need you to give us the money. We want our school back. And I coined a term that's been repeated several times. We should give Mfantsipim back to the people who love it. There are only three stakeholders: the Methodist Church, Mfantsipim, and then the government. I know how the Methodist Church loves the school. After all, my mother was a lay president of the Methodist Church, and my father was a patron of the Methodist Church, who built several churches. I'm a student of Mfantsipim. We can bring back the love between the MOBA and the Mfantsipim Church. Because you have to ask yourself, the Methodist Church went to the government because they needed assistance with money. Once we have money, then we have control. We can once again detect our curriculum. We can once again set our objectives and priorities. We can once again go to the market and hire the best teachers. We can once again have people who can afford paying school fees to subsidize the needy but bright who do not have the resources through a meritocratic needs assessment program. We can once again put Mfantsipim in a new vehicle, maybe limited by guarantee, non-profit, to create the kind of leaders that will not just change Mfantsipim and Ghana, but also Africa, and to give the kind of spirit that black people all over the world need in order to uplift themselves. And so that's why I'm running, because we need to take Mfantsipim back. And so we've created this hashtag. And I see it resonates with everybody, so I'm encouraged. Take 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 back. And it's everywhere. I mean, your previous speakers were saying the same thing. Take 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 back. And it's all coming from that 2013 speech. Indeed, the Greenhorns, Centenary Greenhorns memoirs ends with my speech as the first appendix, which says, take the school back. I've spoken during this very difficult, I underestimated, it was a paying race with my senior boy. I've had to speak to many Mfantsipim boys. And I can tell you, head boy, somebody has donated 500 acres of land to Mfantsipim already. And somebody says, if you are president, I trust you, I'll give you the money to get the endowment fund. Our current Bishop Payne and NEC have done a fantastic job. And I think I come as a part of that. Set up a constitution that divides management from the governing board. Because the task ahead of us is like climbing the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 hill. It's going to be very difficult. We need every one of you to help us get there. And get there, we can. And the tides and affairs of men, when it's taken by storm, leads on to fortune. This is the time. I think I'm the leader for this time, to lead you on to fortune. And I need you to support me so that we can get there. Thank you very much.
So, Kofi, over to you. You don't have to respond to him just yet. Tell us your vision and what you want to do for Mfantsipim.
Right. I love Mfantsipim and I love MOBA. So whilst in school, I really made friends. Then when I went to tech, in loving the boys, I also was voted and made the president of the MOBA Kenya Association. How can I give back even though I'm a student? I rallied the students at the time and would go each holiday, live with the boys and teach them. That was the time when we didn't have enough teachers. So we'll spend the time in the school teaching them and helping them, making sure they were from prep, they did their homework, and then they learned and everything, and prepared them for exams. And 2 years, 3 years, and then Legon caught on. It meant that there was something that we, even at that young age, could give back to the school. And then, so we did that. So we come out of school, and I realized that the support we had received from the old boys, MOBA at the time, was something that was very helpful. Then JVL Phillips was Bishop Payne.
He sponsored us with the senior common room of tech. They would give the money, so we'll go and stay there. Today I can tell you that those young boys we taught, they still endear themselves to us. We're building a fraternity, we're building a relationship, we're building together. So we need to start from somewhere like that. The people are important. The people we love, and we must show it to them. So one of the things I really have, or I think about, is how we can build our numbers, even starting from the young people. They say that we have left them and they don't have any place where they can fit themselves into. So I am saying, if we did it whilst we're there, we can do it for them. I want a relationship with them, and so we'll catch them young. We would spend the young people to go and teach them. MOBA Youth Group has been promulgated in the Constitution. That team is from after school all the way to 9 years when you are going to be inaugurated. If we can marshal that group of people, we are already building an army of MOBA. Especially these times when the students don't spend 7 years like we did, get to know each other. There are so many and scattered that by the time they finish, some people don't know their mates. We have to find a way in which we can bring them together. And I love to do that. I love to bring people together. I love to know people, and I love to work with people so they can grow. So we'll have the MOBA Youth Group, and then they can go and build the relationship, because they would have just left. They begin to relate to them more closely. Then that group of people, when they are in school, we would also let the old boys go and spend time with them. I remember when I was being president, our secretary had been made the legal director for education in Ghana. The director for legal education in Ghana. We went and did a lecture in the school, and we brought in Prof. Kofi from California to say, come and tell us how you two have become great lawyers and you are running institutions. How do we marry what they learn in school with what they do outside there? So they did, and today again, I say people still endear themselves to us, having listened and heard us. So that relationship must be built, and then they can identify. And when we ask them to come into the meetings, they will be there, because they wouldn't see us as far away. They will see us as close brothers, fathers, if like grandfathers, but then a grandfather will have to sit with the person. The Constitution says that we must build a community, the Mfantsipim community. It has to do with MOBA, it has to do with the school. So I've mentioned that. Then it also says there are associates. The associates are people who are like our spouses. They are also like our brothers and sisters. So how do we build that? We in MOBA 80 have valued every single person. Our constant meeting, our togetherness makes everybody that know that they really are part and parcel of us. We celebrate everybody. When we have successes, we celebrate. Whether it's from finishing Mfantsipim or going to Form 1, or somebody gets a promotion or gets a post going to travel outside the country, we will go together and have a time and then dispatch the person. Now, when we have done this, then we are getting close to it. So everybody is valued. If somebody is coming from outside the country on holidays with himself or with his family, then we would arrange a time to meet. And all of these have endeared people to one another. So we are building everybody and making sure that they understand the fraternity and can support. When we have done that, sometimes people have lost their lives. The next thing we have done is to bring that community also part of it, that associate as part of our community. All our widows and the fatherless are part and parcel of us. We visit them, we write to them, we speak to them. It doesn't matter where they are. I have traveled to many places and looked for these people. And today they are so happy that they are part of that family that we have. And because of that, when we say we need something, they easily and wholeheartedly support. This is one of the principles I'm going to use, care and compassion, to build a strong army of MOBA people who will commit themselves to giving resources, time, energies to MOBA. I know that when people are valued, they support or they give easily. MOBA 80, when we need money,
we don't take long. We get it easily because the people know that there is, what do you call it, love, there is understanding, there is integrity, there's accountability, and we can give them what they want. So that is an important way I will come up with. If I teach and train and help all the year group presidents to do what we have done, we can easily build an army where you have, let's say, 100 people in each year group committed to the cause. If they are committed, we can get funds and support from them. That will make it easy when we want to raise funds. And that's what has happened to us. Successfully, we never are behind. We are always able to fund whatever project that we decide to do because the endearment and the togetherness is solid. Come, what do you call it? Come, the desire to take our school back. Yes, it's a desire people are passionate about. So I say to them, if you are really passionate, you must put your money where your mouth is. If they're going to put their money where their mouth is, they really must know that they are valued and they are cared for. So if all of these people will come on and we can raise 100 old boys from each year group, take from 65 all the way to maybe 2014, that will be 50 year groups. 100 of them will be 5,000. And then if you have 5,000 people, let us give a simple, meager, practical way. These are committed people with a passion. Show your passion by giving us $20 every month. If you don't give that money, then you don't really want your school back. If you do that, then you are investing in your own school, and you can get your school back. That will give us $1 million every year. Which, like Moses was saying, we need 400,000. So if you need 400,000, you have $1 million. You have big room for the operational cost and even infrastructure investment. So that's another way in which we can do it. We can then go on to the other places where we want to support our school. Bring quality to the school. The quality will have to start from the intake. The students coming in must be quality. You and me are allowed to bring in protocol. I make sure that my year group, if you are bringing in protocol, you meet the criteria. If you don't, I will not even forward your name. And they understand and they agree. If each and every one of us, all year groups, brought in the quality students, we'll have a great start. Then if students come in, let's go to teachers. I understand teachers come into the school. Some not by merit. They come by, what do you call it? I won't say backdoor, no. But I'd rather say that they come by political connections. And so they are not really up to the 𝗟𝗡𝗩 or Mfantsipim standard. I, together with the council, with the presiding bishop and the headmaster, if the headmaster was interviewed and it was a keenly contested interview, then that's the way we should go with all that. We'll make sure that we have quality students, we're going to get quality teachers. Remember, I've said something that would increase interest in increase the quality of the students as we go on. We can do the same for the teachers. Set up a competition that says the teacher or teachers who really excel with the results showing through the students and in every way will be rewarded. When we were looking for a headmaster, my year group, we wanted our mate who was there to become headmaster. We quickly put in money, arranged a training and school for him outside the country, put out $7,000, and we're ready to go. Come the time, the visa and things delayed, then the COVID hits, and so we couldn't go. But that template is there, and we can always enact it. So that's about teacher quality and all of that. After that, so we can also send our headmaster and the teachers out. My mates in the Scandinavian countries, in UK, Canada, and even Africa are able and prepared to support these people in this call. If we do that, we are raising the quality of our school. However, it will be our passion is to take back our school. If we don't build it now, when we get there, it will be a big jump. But that gradual thing, remember, genes, like Moses said, the three stakeholders, one has a trump card, is the government. Even though they've promised, they have not delivered so many times. And so fine, we'll wait and lobby the missions as well as the missions, so that they also have schools and they can come together with us, and then we can get on this. I also believe that we must support
the infrastructure.
Go ahead.
We must support the infrastructure. Yes, I have led my year group and been part of the SYGs that have built the infrastructure the way we want it to go. Our style has always been to raise monies adequate and excess. In 2010, we did it when we did ablutions. We had money extra that would really look after the project. 2 more years, maintenance, and then we paid for it. Come 2020, we were the first to go and start the domestic, the sports field. And when we had finished, we still made sure we had 236,000 more in the kitty that could be used for maintenance. So we have that culture, and we can do it. I believe that culture has come from all the things I've said and built on. Let me then say, come 2026, we will be celebrating our 150th anniversary. I propose that we do one monumental, great thing by all of us as old boys. If you are interested in the school, build and put your money in there. And what are we going to do? The school needs an assembly hall, a chapel, an entertainment hall, and then they also need a dining hall. We don't have 4 lands for that. It will be costly. But today, there's multi-purpose hall. Multi-purpose halls, they just change the setting, and then you get what you want. I've seen it in many places. If the 5,000 army we have raised would put in $20 every month for the next 3 years, we will be and come up $500 every at the end of the 3 years. $500 times 5,000 students is 2.5 million. The estimate for the hall, the multi-purpose hall, I'm told, could be about $2 million. So, in our fashion, we'll have $500,000 extra. And for that year, we can actually splash it around the school, painting, making it. I remember in '76, when, you were fifth ground floors, yes. But remember that ecstatic celebration we had. It's been unexcelled. And I think that we can replicate that or even excel that in the 150th anniversary. Bring people from everywhere and let them, this is our school. We built a great school, a great monument, and we can say we built this for our school that made us. Build it, have a celebration. And finally, I want to talk about how we can even continue to raise more money. Mfantsipim has a legacy. We have names that we can leverage. One man, Nkrumah, has been touted as Ghana, Africa, blah, blah, blah. And then World Bank supports him with 3.5 million. We can do the same. We have 4 great people. In fact, 2 of them work with the UN. Kwesi Saki, followed by Kofi Annan. These 2 alone, we should be able to lobby UN and other stakeholders to say, look, this is the school that made these people. Will you support us? Build. And then that can become a wonderful center of tourism, a wonderful center of learning. And we can say, look, Mfantsipim is replete with so many 19th century buildings, and they are still in good shape. Come and see. We can tie it with tourism through Cape Coast and then Elmina Castles, and we make money out of it. But we can also lobby all of these people who support education and who respect the names I have mentioned to put in their money where their mouth is. I know that we can do this because we will raise the 5,000 army. We know that we are passionate about our school. We know that we will love our school and support it. And I, having done with the MOBA 80 for all these years, the template is there and I can repeat it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those opening remarks. We're breaking for an advert, is that right? A 1-minute advert.
Fellas, Are you ready to party? Then polish your shoes, practice your new dance moves, get your wives and partners ready, cause it's going down on Saturday, November 2023 at the Pearly Gates Event Center, Boundary Road, East Legon. MOBA is inviting you to its 147th annual fundraising dinner dance. The time is 6 p.m. sharp. Theme: the role of digital technology in redefining quality and sustainable education in Ghana. This is another call to gather and have fun whilst we raise funds to support the 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Center for Sports Excellence. Tell a MOBA to tell a MOBA. Bring a friend of the school to party the evening away. Our ladies from Central Region schools will be there. Come have loads of fun as we prepare for our big day on the hills on November 11, 2023. We have the Clockside Band and DJ Bobo on the ones and twos. For your tickets, call Dean on 0244-838363 or Blacker 0246-484818. Sponsors: Goyle, Pearly Gate Event Center, Yachts Lodge, DVLA, Guinness Ghana Limited, Denacort Limited, Mansipia Christie Limited, Awelam Limited, Basters Apex Limited, Passion Air. Media partners: Joy FM, Class FM, Aquaba Radio, Virginia, USA. Yenda nanumbu taipa, 𝗟𝗩𝗘 Junction.
So welcome back. Oh, there's one more ad. Okay. Is it coming on? Okay. Okay. All right. We're back. So Moses, your Kofi here used up all his 15 minutes, but you were brief. But it looks like you've stirred up a lot of passion and interest. This idea of taking back the school, we want to hear more. How are you going to do that? We talked about the stakeholders. We talked about the money we need, and it's not just the money to acquire, it's the money to operate. Tell us a little bit about how we will go about doing that and how long it would take to get that done.
Okay, it's Mfantsipim. A lot of people have very bright ideas, and we've been here for 150 years. And some of the things that we've embarked on have not worked. And the reason why they have not worked is that every decision that we take, we have to put it through a basic framework and have that framework in two points. One is the decision sustainable? That means that if we make this decision, will the investment have the cash flow to run it, and what priority we will make it to make cash flow positive and sustainability? If it doesn't pass the test, you shouldn't do it. Now, the next decision is that in every project, you look at the total life cycle cost of the project, not just an event, but as a life cycle. Because if you don't calculate the life cycle cost, you may make promises that you cannot deliver. So in considering this solution from Mfantsipim, the apex is financial sustainability. That's why the matrix is 25 years. The next is negotiations.
So say that again. 25 years to accomplish, or 25 years?
25 years of money.
Of money.
That's the 10 million. That's why it's a specific figure.
25 years of old boys contributing.
When we hit the 10 million endowment fund figure, then we have the money in the fund.
For 25 years.
For 25 years. So
is the 400,000 enough?
No, it's not. So we go to the government and say, hey, you give us 400,000, you're assisting us, we don't really need your money because we have an endowment fund that could pay what you're giving us for 25 years. So let's change the paradigm and discuss something else. Okay. Now, the details of the endowment fund committee, which I'm on, is very detailed. I mean, Jabi Semisata is the chairman, Mr. Payne is part of it, and I'm a member as well, and it actually runs in my office. And we have a document that we shared to the whole year group. It's a well thought out way that we'll raise it. We actually have pledges for about, I stand to be corrected, but I think a lifetime about 8 people already who are given $100,000 each. Because if you make, even for 2012 or so, I heard doesn't pay their fees. It's only 5,000 or so. You need a strategy that's effective that can get you where you want to get to. So you're talking about the advancement boys, you're talking about private institutions, you're talking about public institutions, you're talking about local funds that are geared towards education, like corporate social responsibility funds or the big companies. You're talking about international funds, accessing international funds. You have to know how to do it. I do that on a daily basis. And making sure that it's structured properly. It's a bankable document that when somebody sees, they'll put money to it. So the question is, why wouldn't we raise it all this time? That means the document is not good enough. Now we have one that's good enough. Once it's sustainable, if the government is looking after, as of today, 721 senior high schools, that's how many the government is looking after. If by the Pre-Tertiary Education Act, Act 1049, if you look at section 37(9), which forms the boards of the schools, you have the legal basis for which you can do what you want to do. If there's no legal basis, you can't do that. Because the boards of the schools don't have the legal power to do anything. It's in the Act. Out of the 11 possible members, 7 are from GES. They don't report to Mfantsipim. Their allegiances to GES. The curriculum of the school is coming from GES. The teachers, even if you reward them, they're employees of GES. The headmaster doesn't need to listen to MOBA. So if you look at all these and you put it to the sustainability test and the rational test and you model it, you see, no, we can't do that. We will not beat our aim if we go that way, because we just don't have the power to do the things that we say we can do. In order to do it, we need to negotiate with the government, show them our endowment fund, say, hey, you know what, you can take this 400,000 a year and go and give it to some other SHS. We will have a paying, and we have to do the modeling. 70% paying, 30% big as free SHS. Free education is good, but it has to be sustainable. When we calculate it, we'll give them an enhanced SHS. That will ensure that the outcomes and the relevance of the education that they have is fit for the future jobs of tomorrow. Because the education today is not the education that will give you jobs for tomorrow. Then now we're talking a system of prioritization. If we talk about spatial space planning in Mfantsipim, Mfantsipim has a lot of smart experts. I want to start with the Renaissance Group, Frank Taki, to learn from him what were the issues with Mfantsipim. He said that they have planned the whole school, they looked at all the spaces, they know exactly what the footprint of the school should be, they know the throughput of boys, they know which hard spaces, which soft spaces, carbon footprint, they know the optimized benchmark of how the school should run. And so he was going to update it. It's based on that information that we will make calculated, prioritized, rational choices on the priority of development. I don't know whether Sidankama says we'll build a hall first. I don't think that way. I think in terms of what's the priority. How do we get our objectives and still be cash flow positive? He may be right, but I can't tell unless I've seen the data. Taking the Renaissance plan and updating it means that we'll have a pro forma account as to how much we need to finance. We'll have a cash flow. We'll do the sustainability test, and we will know what sort of strategies, operational plans, and what sort of subject market experts. And there are experts everywhere, like you, head boy. You just have to make sure that the people with the expertise are put into groups to churn out policies and rules that will inform what we do. And when we do that, we have to look at governance. All I'm saying are concepts. In the end, we have to develop a document, we have to take it to council, we have to vote on it, it has to go to the year groups, and we have to fashion a management system that will support the goals and fund it sustainably. Wishes can be horses, but the only thing that can deliver that is a deliberate, logical, financially well-thought template that is sustainable. You know, so that's the way that we're going to. Why would the government do it? It's a matter of dealing. In a negotiation, the government has what it wants. We know what we want. We all can tell that the government cannot feed us at today $400,000. Translates to $108 per student a year. It's 1,200 cities. You can buy coconut and it'll get finished. What kind of education are you going to give on $108? If you look for it, you know it's not sustainable, right? So you have a negotiation power and say, hey, why don't you take this $4 million a year, put it somewhere else? We will absorb what we can, but there should be premium schools for premium students. We'll bring out leaders who can change the socio-economic and political destiny of this country. Those schools cannot be the type of schools we have here. And Mfantsipim certainly qualifies to be one of the heritage schools. It must be treated specially. We will set the standard for other schools. The question the government is going to ask is, okay, how do we know that you can manage the school? Now, we will set the tone for setting the eligibility criteria for negotiating mission schools back to private. And agreeing with the government, we don't have a single legal document that tells or governs the relationship between Mfantsipim and the government, but they've taken over our school. I need a legal opinion from the best legal brains. And we have many lawyers, I'm one. We're going to go in and we're going to pressure the government and say, this is the legal opinion. This is the status that we have. These are the rights that you have under the documents we signed with you. So we'll do it persuasively. As long as all the stakeholders have the best outcomes, they will agree. And that's what I do for a living. I negotiate internationally, and I get stuff done. I intend to use my skills to deliver this. And I know that I'm not going to do it alone. I will need Sinyan Kumasawa.
All right.
Head boy, I'll need you. Because there are different kinds of expertise that, like I said to Frank Taki for 3 hours. When I left, I understood something about spatial planning. He told me one thing, and I'll repeat it. He said, Moses, Freeman Agri was built for 120 people maximum. Today we have more than 500 people in. Do you know the effect? I said, no, I don't. Tell me. He says it means if the boys start bathing 4 hours before assembly, 80% of them will be Oski. They can't bath because they can't throughput. I said, really? Then we have to change that. So when you think about building, you have to decide the priorities. Because, you can't just, we need to prioritize, and then we need to have a cash flow plan that follows that. You need the experts. The education experts who will tell you these are the benchmarks for the best schools in the world. The ratios. The spatial planning people like Frank Taki, who's done it before, who teaches me what we need to do. I went there to learn, and I'm here to learn from all the experts so that together we can get where we want to go, rationally, sustainably.
All right, Kubi, what do you think of what he said? How realistic is it? How feasible is it? And what are your concerns, or do you share the same aspiration? In fact, what we heard is, if we want to take the school back, so it doesn't sound like it's your, a priority of yours. Do we have to take the school back?
I have said that old boys are very passionate about having their school back. Yes, but there are conditions. The presiding bishop is game. Bishop Payne was game. We mandated him from the council meeting in this room to go speak to presiding bishop. So we are game. We are very much interested in taking our school back. But I said there's somebody who has a trump card. It's called government. And we are prepared by the time they say, okay, you can have your school back. We'll be ready to go.
How do we prepare?
Exactly what I'm saying. Raise 5,000 old boys. Bit by bit. Little drops of water make a mighty ocean. And this is sustainable. $20 by any old boy. Tell me, those sitting here, whether in your commitment coming to this meeting and deciding whether you will not sustainably give $20 a month. All right? And then we build the kitty. So if we do that, we'll be building every year till the time when government comes and says, okay, and we are giving back the schools. I don't know when, but we would have been getting ready. We would be getting ready. If you really believe in something, you must put your money in it. That's one. Number two, I said we also have linkages or connections or opportunities to raise monies. My year group linked up with a group called Progress in Education, PI. And from 2000 to date, they have constantly brought in equipment in IT and science, plus funds to pay for students who can't pay their fees, right? And they do it by aggregating small amounts of money and collecting from people. This is reliable. This is constant. This you can budget on. That's the kind of thing. The way my thinking, my engineering mind and a business mind, I'm also a businessman. I have a business that has run for 23 years, and it's also multinational. I'm in 3 countries outside Ghana. And this is the way I have sustained my business. And it's reliable, and it's even in the COVID, for example, we didn't have to turn anybody down because we knew we had a backup. And that's so I believe, yes, we have a desire. If you have a desire, put your money down. If you put your money down, like Moses is saying, you can go and lobby and say, I have the money. But I think that we can build it reliably, sustainably, constant stream of money by people who know that they can and will and give their money small. The extras can come. Corporate bodies will give. Embassies will give. What do you call it? I've also said people who support education will give. Yesterday we were reminded that MasterCard is interested. So we can also go to them. But any people who want to do anything must show their own commitment. If you show your commitment, then people will help you. That's my idea.
Okay. So Kofi, let me stay with you for a minute. I mean, we've heard some very wonderful ideas, taking back the school, multi-purpose hall. All of these things cost money. And if I take his 10 million and your 2.5 million, you can imagine it's going up. Two questions. How realistic are we being with these goals? What time frame are we setting? And if we had to prioritize, what would that priority be? Would we be building multi-purpose halls to fix infrastructure, or would we be taking back the school? Let's say we want to do both, but priorities, how would we go about that?
Yes. I think we can run them concurrently, and I've told us how we can do it concurrently. Number one, that $20 per part of the army is sustainable. It is possible. And I have used that in our year group as well as the SYG. And if you have done anything once, twice, there's probability of a higher percentage that the third time it can. And I've said that in 2010, the school said, this is our priority. We need an ablutions at the academic site. And we ran the numbers. It was going to cost 100,000. 100,000 at 2010 was no cheap money. We raised that money, and I'm saying that we made sure we delivered the project on time, and then we had excess to maintain it. So that is very practical, very real, very evidential. Come 10 years later, we repeated the dose. We went and cut the forest right from scratch. We were the first to start the sports arena. Remember, the Renaissance team had said, we divide the school into the infrastructure support into 4: academic, domestic, staff, then sports. Between 2010 and all the way to 2019, we had done a number of in these places. So they said, okay, the next we must do is to go to the sports field. And we were the pioneers. And I said, we went there, cut the trees down, virgin forest, and then we put in the infrastructure, and had 25% of the project fund still in our kitty as maintenance. In fact, just last week or 2 weeks ago, a Mfantsipim called us and said, you guys, your money that you raise and have is still in the kitty. What do you do with it? And we had to talk. Okay. So I think the two can run concurrently. One, I've said, let's look at how we raise monies for our school. But at the same time, because of the ecstasy, the frenzy or the helluva of having a celebration, 150th anniversary coming up. And like you said, at the time, everybody is so excited, we are celebrating this. And go around. When people have celebrations, they spend. When you have a wedding, the bill goes up, but you put your money in. This is going to be our wedding, where our school is going to be, celebrating 150 years of boys' secondary education, primary, premier, topmost. And everybody should put in their money. If we do that from 2024, 5 and 6, we can achieve that. So like I'm saying, we can run them concurrently and still achieve. I'm all for repossessing the school, but we must have the money.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to switch gears. We talked about this at length. And before we take a break, Moses, one of the first things you said, which I think resonated for many people, is the quality of the school has gone down. I heard you say. We take our children to SOS and GIS, wherever, but we donate to the school. Taking back the school, multi-purpose halls, these all take time. What are we going to do? What are you going to do year 1 and 2 and 3 to improve the quality of the school? How do you insert yourself as old boys into the school operation?
If you check my manifesto, it's well structured. It's in 10 pledges. These pledges form the framework on which we're going to build the concepts and the details and take it to council and groups to pass, so that we have a document that we can all own, and we're going to go through a certain governance system. Once we own it, we will deliver on it. So the first step is to get this strategic business passed, is to get all the operational budgets, all the risk assessment registers, all the...
Can you clarify, is it done, the strategic business that you mentioned?
No, this has to be passed by council, but I've done the conceptual part of it. All these things I'm telling you is conceptual, but because I'm a businessman, I know it works. The rest is detail. The detail will be done by experts in the different areas, and then we will look at how we put it together. My pledges are in 60 months. I intend to do all these in 60 months. And I think that Ankama is supporting whatever I've said. He hasn't said anything different from what I've said. And just getting $20 from people was in my 2013 speech. So I've gone forward on that, you know. We've moved forward on that. And the reason why Mfantsipim put me and Jabesh in that team was because he told me that Moses, I know that you're the one who can get this done. And it's already done, the endowment fund. It's been shared to, sorry, because I'm a lawyer, I think governance a bit. It's been shared to council, and they've had a chance to go through it. Now we'll approve it. If we approve it, then that's what we're implementing. It's a very detailed document, so it's not, you know, and it works.
But help us, break it down for us. Here we are. How do we improve the quality of the school?
So
what do we do in year 1 and 2 and 3?
You don't have control. I've already cited the Pre-Tertiary Education Act. It was passed in 2020. It's an Act 1049. You see that it's broken down into regulation and management. And then you come to board composition. And then you come to what the board can do and how effective the board is and who the board members report to. As long as you see that, you know that we're useless. The headmaster can decide to do whatever he wants to, GES tells him. They don't need to listen to us. And people will get donor fatigue. Are you me? So the curriculum of the school is not controlled by us. The teachers work for GES. You can't even tell what teacher you want. You can't go to the market and buy the best teachers. The things that we're talking about, digitization, which is a big part of my manifesto, is that we will digitize not just MOBA, but the school. When we do that, most of these welfare issues and so on will be handled by aggregators that are matching demand to expertise and so on. And will be resolved depending on the segment needs. If it's older MOBA boys, you know what they need? Medical, insurance, advice. They even need chatting with somebody. You can send national service people to just chat with them so that they can mentor them. It's something. You get this all from the aggregators. It's not something that you pick out of the top of your head. You need to plan it and build it. Now, when it comes to running, so all these collection monies, people will pay a little, but I find an objective and I find the best way to get to it, looking at the risks. I hire experts to tell me what the risks are. We quantify it, we cost it, and we mitigate it. And I'm not afraid of governments. Even governments can be negotiated with. I think I've proven that, right? So you can negotiate with government. You just have to know what you're negotiating for. My senior, Josiah Cobas here, used to be head of NIA. When he was, I told him, look, foreigners ID, we can conceptualize, design, build, finance it. He says, no, we don't have to put our own money in it. No. How's it going to work? Well, this is the revenue model. 13 years is working. We give the government $80,000 every month from that system. There's only one. It's completely financed by us, 24.7 million. That's how I think. It has to be sustainable. You have to prove that you can generate the money. There are some other things I don't want to say. But you can't be afraid of people. You negotiate with them. You have to know what their interest is. What do they want? Every government wants the best for their citizens. We all will want free SHS. And I think that free SHS is a good thing. We just found out that. But for Mfantsipim, why is my child in SOS? I mean, it annoys me. Some Austrian that I don't know what he stands for, I don't know his philosophy. Why don't I take it to our old school? I'm paying $10,000 for that crap. because I'm going to fight my wife, right? So it just doesn't make sense. We need to take control in order to be able to do all the things that both me and Ankama are saying. Otherwise, the school will collapse. It will become a third-rate school that you pass 3,700 people in who can have a bath, who don't see each other, and who don't have the same spirit that our moderator has and been sitting here since the morning. He's a big man. He's sitting here to come and talk about Mfantsipim. I don't even know whether we can pay him for his hours, you know. But will they have the same spirit? I doubt it. My analysis shows no. And you can tell that some 2,000 haven't paid their fees. I mean, how? Mfantsipim boys don't pay their dues? That's not acceptable. That's not me. I was thinking of paying their dues for them. But I looked at inducement and I said, no, let me not do that. It'll be a governance issue, right? But we have to have a practical, strategic way to do it. You know, and we're not saying anything different. Me and Ankama are saying the only thing that is different is how we get it done and the proven track record to get it done. Everybody has a role to play, you know, but you have to have somebody who leads and knows what to do and has done it before to get this to happen. I'm sure that I can get it done. It's not a problem. So that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Kobe, same question to you. As we plan these future events, what can we do today, tomorrow, 1, 2, and 3 to improve the quality of education at the school? What are those things you envisage that we can do and you can help us do?
Yes, thank you. I've said that one, intake by the student intake must improve in quality, right? So whether we do it or the GS does it, we say we want quality. And I've said that old boys have a portion. If we have a portion to put in, then let's make sure that our portion is quality. And then if we can insist that the others should also come on the same score. If they don't have it, then if we don't put in, then we can't be saying that they should, because we are not going against we are not going by the standards. If we go by the standards, we can also ask the same standards of the other people. So that is one. Quality teacher. I've said, if our headmaster could be interviewed and could go by merit, then the teachers can and must come by merit. When they are there, we have said we're going to raise how we train them. The training will come from us, old boys who have skills and knowledge in these things. And then, in addition, we raise a competition, a motivation, so that they can challenge one another. Now, if they spend the time investing in the students, and the results show, and we reward them, then it will be a ripple effect. People would also then want to do that. And if they want to do that, year 1, year 2, year 3, we will be increasing. We're going up bit by bit. Or it may be in leaps because of the numbers, because of the efforts that we are putting in. So those are ways in which, and your mate, Sinesimi Ahin, he's done a great, fantastic job in the electronics, in the computerization of the school. So we support him. The headmaster has come to AGM regularly and bemoaned how he was not getting support. But at the last meeting, he said, well, there's some reason that's coming up. So, and the Mfantsipim and the secretaries have also been pushing so that that thing is accepted. If it is and it comes on, then we can really increase the quality, because the teaching is available for more people, the standard is the same for more people, and then you all know, when we were in Mfantsipim, we were all taught in the same classroom, and we were taught by the same master. When we closed, the stronger boys help the weaker ones. And sometimes the teachers themselves spend more time with the students. And we can say, if you, teacher, would spend more time, and it's evident that you are helping more of the students, why not? We should reward you. We should encourage you. And I've said that if your results show, then we reward you with more training and more exposure. Travels outside, the Wesley girls do it, and other schools do it. Why can't we? Mfantsipim old boys scattered all over the world. Can we host our teachers and help them, motivate them, and make them happy? So these are ways in which we can then build the school. But one key thing is to really work at stripping down the numbers. We need to bring the numbers within the reach or span of the facilities. It is key. And we would, like I'm saying, we'll do that when we say quality If we are not quality, we draw the line, and then we work at reducing the numbers. If we reduce the numbers, we can fit them into the existing facilities, and then it becomes easier. Right now, the dining is running the shift.
Let's stay with that last point, because you've made it more than once. How do we reduce the numbers? We haven't done it so far.
Yes.
What are we going to do differently to do it now?
Well, I started by saying that we should make sure that we ourselves, the quantity we are given, the number we are given to bring should be quality. If they don't merit it, please let us draw the line and not give in to those people. Then when they come in, I'm saying that we should encourage those people to really work hard by ourselves visiting and getting the MOBA youth group to go and help them, to show them how they can do the learning, as we did, and was successful. So it can be done. When they do that, then we get the teachers to continue the score. And then we will be building. One man at a time, or one class at a time, we will be achieving.
Okay. All right. Should we take a break? It's 1 minute, and then we'll ask audience to maybe ask a few questions. Go ahead.
If you don't mind, I like, as Ankama's sincerity and passion, but I cited, the basic problem is that we don't have the power to do any of what you're saying legally, because the teachers don't work for us. Let me land. I agree with everything you're saying, but how to do it? Section 7 of this Act, Pre-Tertiary Education Act 1049, states that the teachers for basic and senior high school students work for the Ghana Education Service. You can't sack them, you can't change their pay, you can't change the quality. So we want to do it, but we don't have the legal power to do it. I've studied it, and I said,
so what should we do?
So we need to take control of the school, because you can't have my son's teacher earns 3,000 a month in SHS. So they go and buy the best teacher. I don't know how much an Mfantsipim teacher earns. The test is whether Mfantsipim boys send their boys back. If they start doing that, then we're on the right path.
So Moses, let's stay with that.
Yeah.
How long will it take us to take back the school?
I have a 60-month framework.
5 years.
60 months to
5
finish
years.
all the pledges.
Okay, all right. On that fine note, we take a break, 1 minute advert, and then 3 questions from the floor.
Thank you.
Fellas, are you ready to party? Then polish your shoes, practice your new dance moves, get your wives and partners ready, cause it's going down on Saturday, November 4, 2023 at the Pearly Gates Event Center, Boundary Road, East Legon. MOBA is inviting you to its 147th annual fundraising dinner dance. The time is 6 p.m. sharp. Theme, the role in redefining quality and sustainable education in Ghana. This is another call to gather and have fun whilst we raise funds to support the 𝗟𝗡𝗩 Center for Sports Excellence. Tell a MOBA to tell a MOBA. Bring a friend of the school to party the evening away. Our ladies from Central Region Schools will be there. Come have loads of fun as we prepare for our big day on the hills on November 11, 2023. We have the Clockside Band and DJ Bobo on the ones and twos. For your tickets, call Dean on 0244-838363 or Blacker 0246-484818. Sponsors: Goyle, Pearly Gates Event Center, Yachts Lodge, DVLA, Guinness Ghana Limited, Denacot Limited, Mansipia Christi Limited, Awelam Limited, Bastards Apex Limited, Passion Air. Media partners: Joy FM, Class FM, Aquaba Radio, Virginia, USA. Yenna Nanumbu Taipa, Kwabuche,
The 𝗟𝗡𝗩 Center for Sports Excellence Retaining Wall is an opportunity to leave a lasting legacy in Mfantsipim. Secure your plaque for recognition on the 𝗟𝗡𝗩 Center for Sports Excellence Retaining Wall by the extended deadline of October 31st, 2023. Please note, payments made from now to 31st does not guarantee inclusion by speech day due to the necessary construction time. Nevertheless, your name would eventually appear on the retaining wall. Kindly contact your year group president for details.
All right, so colleagues, we are back. We have time for 2 questions, things we haven't talked about already. So I'm going to cite seniority. Nana Butler, please go ahead. Well, he should come. Oh, it's okay. It's fine. I think he'll be fine, yeah.
I'm not sure that's a question, but cuts across, taking over, mobilizing an army of 5,000, was it? All with the aim of taking over. And then quality education. You've all identified it, saying that it is because of the rubbish that is put in, so we get rubbish out. The headmaster and the staff are being pressurized from all angles. No matter, I think that if you want to have quality and make sure, because you were talking about what we get, is it about 10%? The allocation to less than 10%. So if you get quality of 10, you have 90% rubbish. I think the solution is being resolute. I know I like a stanza of Asbury. It said, "Oh, may thy soldiers, faithful, true, and bold, fight as the saints who nobly fought of old." Same in Intermission. We need to fight. We need to be resolute. We should get somebody who's ready to say, "I am not taking these students that you are passing to the school," and let the person be fired. And then let us come together. And that headmaster who's been fired, let's take him and pay his fees, pay his salary, or put him somewhere. You're an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. That is when we'll be heard. Boldness, courage. This is what Mfantsipim was set up for. Let's do that. Thank you.
The gentleman behind.
Thank you very much. We've been talking about money. I just want to find out, when so much money is given to you, at the end of the day, how are you going to render an account to us? Because a few years back, we all know what happened. My year group paid a lot of money. At the end of the day, we didn't get the accountability that we actually needed. So I want to ask the two of them, after you've been able to raise millions of dollars and all of that, how are you going to account to us? The other issue has to do with the fact that you want to take back the school. My issue is that, now, if you want to take back the school, the government has a free senior high, the policy. How are you going to go around it? Because you see, if it's a policy for the state, it has to go to Parliament before they can say that Mfantsipim has to be given back, maybe to the MOBA and all of that. Thank you.
One more question if there's anybody. Otherwise, we can go straight to the answers. One last question in the back with the blue.
Hi. Good evening. I think before I start, I just wanted to make a correction that 2012, we paid our dues now. I think to summarize what I got from what is happening, it's more of a self-governance now and self-governance in the shortest possible time kind of thing. But I think my question would be to Reverend Ankama. Some of the things you are saying, I mean, they are good ideas, yes. But I feel personally like you are banking a bit too much on the passion of the upcoming old students. And I am one of the latest MOBAs. And around here, you can see that apart from Richard and I, there's nobody else here. Because again, and I've said this several times, our experience in school was very, very, very different from our seniors. We could not wait to get out of the school. And so many of us don't want to even hear about the school because your time, there were far less students. As me, for instance, for my first term, I was sleeping on chalk boxes. I was not even sleeping on a bed. I was sleeping on chalk boxes. And things like that, I feel like to build that passion, to get everything else working, you need to get those coming out of the school to enjoy the school. So then the school has to be fixed before you can think of other things. Because if in my first 2 terms, I'm sleeping on a chalk box. For 2 years of school, I didn't have the full complement of teachers. And even the teachers that we had, one of them, we used to correct him in class. There's no point that after school you tell me that I should come back and come and do something for the school. The only thing that the younger generation have for the school is that we have pride in the history. But a pride in, and yes, our basketball team too was one of the best, so the history and the basketball team, fine, that's it. But for the difference between, let's say, Mfantsipim and Presec or whatever else, there wasn't much difference. In fact, most of these schools were better than ours. So that love or pride, it's only a few of us who maybe were generational Mfantsipim families or things like that, that, okay, would have that love still inbred in us. Even Richard that is here, the class page, he's not even on our year group page. He's not even on our year group page. You can add them, they'll remove themselves. And I mean, most of you obviously saw how hard it was to raise just 5,000 cedis. And it's not even like they don't have it, but they don't see the point in paying. Coming up with that 5,000 cedis, I had to beg and beg, and at the end of the day, I just decided with a few friends that, okay, it doesn't matter, let's just go ahead. And you are telling me that you want to get 100 of us to be paying $20.
All right, thank you very much. So three very insightful contributions. Let's see whether we can summarize responses. I think Kofi in particular, the point is, and it was mentioned earlier, the younger people have a different experience from the older people. What can you realistically fix it, and how are you going to go about doing that?
Yes, okay. Yes, I mentioned the sequence in which we are going to work to be able to get them have the passion of the school. They are in the school, right? Yes, and they need to imbibe what is there. Fine. The current numbers, 3,000, let's even divide them into, let's say, 1,000 per year. So, but I'm aiming at 100 of them, okay? And in fact, when I mentioned 65 to 20, to what do you call it, 2015, you were out. All right, but I mean, we need to start working from the school whilst they are there. We send the MOBA youth group, who are those who have just left, and we get them from the tertiary schools, and then we get them to interact and to build with them. We send old boys who are here and are passionate. They go into the school and regularly, right, from time to time, have we used to have Friday afternoon current affairs, and where we could then get old boys to talk to them on specific subjects which they could, or we could interest them. Recently, I understand that when the Ghana Bar Association had their conference in what's the name, in Cape Coast, they sent lawyers to the school to talk to them about law and things like that. The dining hall was full. and they were making notes. It means that there's a gap which they are looking for to be filled. And I'm saying that there are old boys here who have accomplished this and are able to share. And if people go and share, then we build mentorship and mentees to work together. We are not going to have it overnight. No way. We have had a gap for years. But 1 day at a time, 1 year at a time, one group at a time, we'll work. And I've said every year group is going to get a mentoring year group. And if we do that, and we can forge on. Look, I'm looking at 100. Yes, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I testify that we have done it in our year group. And interestingly, we did that also with 90, the 90-year group. I mean, when they were starting off, they said they had teething problems, and then they said, "Oh, let's go and bring Uncle Kofi." At the time, that's what they called me. So I went and spoke to them. And today they testify that that time that I spent with them, the investment I made in them, is what has really made them strong and buoyant as to help the zeros now. If everyone did this, certainly we won't win everybody. In fact, the document says that it's an association where you have your free will to be part. Now, if you have a free will and then you don't want to be part of it, can you make demands? That's what I'm saying, that I'm looking for passionate old boys who are willing to contribute, and we can find them. At least some of them are here, and they can become the catalyst for the others. So that's one way in which we can do this. Then you're asking about accounting. I think my record speaks for itself. I've said that when we have done the work, we have accounted, and then we have given the reports, and it has been accepted in council. 2, there are auditors, or what do you call it, old boys amongst us who are auditors. Mr. Muslim, they sit at the back. There are people skilled in that kind of thing. Number 3, MOBA itself has an auditor, and he comes to what's the name, AGM, and reports. He does the accounting, and he reports to us and say, "Look, the monies have been spent rightly and correctly and everything." Okay, if this is what we do for MOBA, let me tell you what I do in my business. In my business, I don't just put my hand in it. No, in the kitty and just take what I want. Mr. Muslim, they audited us, and he can testify to that. And the other people who have audited us, they can testify to that. I can tell you that my integrity is so important for me that I pay my taxes religiously and rightly. And this year, the government has had to refund to me excess taxes that we have paid. Come to the next audit, they know that they have to refund something else to me because we have overpaid. I don't joke with the rules and regulations. Integrity for me is so important. So if we have to account, we certainly will account to the last penny. You can count on that.
Kofi, I'm going to stop you there. And the second question I'm going to direct to Moses had to do with government. When we listen to you, we make it sound easy. We're going to sort out government. The gentleman over there told you that there's legislation, parliament, etc., etc., etc. Realistically, give us a sense of the roadmap for how we can actually navigate this government shareholder who is not likely to easily give up their control of the school.
I think it's 22nd September 2017. I will check. The president, this current president, made a statement that he was going to give the mission schools back to the missions. At the last Methodist conference a couple of years ago, the presiding bishop made a statement, official statement, that the Methodist Church was willing and ready and wanted to take Mfantsipim back during the currency of his presidency. And I've had conversations with the presiding bishop, so I know for a fact that he's serious. It seems to me that it's just a matter of logic that if the government cannot afford to pay for free SHS, it will have to come to a certain compromise. Not because free SHS is not good, but because with the experience that goes on, we have to improve and enhance that free SHS. And if we do raise the money, and like Senior Boy is saying, we can, It's not going to be an easy fight. It's not like we're looking for an easy fight. But I think that we have the men to do that. Then we can negotiate from a position of strength. Now, how do we get all of Mfantsipim behind us? I think that Ankama has said a lot of things I agree with him on. In our candidature, I sincerely believe that he's an ethical, sincere person. Nobody's going to be afraid to give him money. I haven't had any cause to think that anybody's going to be afraid to give him money. You know, Mr. Beslamte is on my board, by the way. He's an independent director. You know, I don't think anybody thinks I will take their money. I don't need it. You know, I actually give the school money, so we're on the same page. We can forget about that one. The next step is, how do we make the fraternity? When people trust you, they give you money. And when people know that you are invested in something and you are leading by example, they give you money. Yesterday, my year group raised 2.1 million Ghana cedis for the senior field. And you see how we raised it. We went to certain companies, took their corporate social responsibility. I did the presentation, went to somewhere else, got a check for 700,000. No issues. Because the people that are giving me the money know that they can trust me. And I'm sure they can trust you. So if we get the money, all we have to do is improve the fraternity. All the things you're doing are wonderful, but we have to put them on steroids. You can't do that manually. You need to build a modern digital platform that will connect all parts of MOBA and deliver in real time what everybody wants. And that utility will bring that bond. I have a lot of the 2000s sending me mails, sending me WhatsApp saying, can you be my mentor? I want you to speak. I haven't said anything to them. They think that it can be useful for them. But it's not just me. We've got all of these people here who has more experienced, brilliant professionals in their time. Some of them have a lot of time. How do you find them? I'm not in, somebody sent me an email yesterday saying, Margins, you gave Mfantsipim 700 and you should send me 10,000 to go and do my heart condition. I was like, it doesn't work like that. This process has taken some months. We had to write to the subcommittee on the board for our corporate social responsibility for education. Apply. I had to go and present. These are made of international people. Why we can associate with Mfantsipim's brand. And eventually they gave us the money. You are thinking that because there's 700,000 more companies, I myself am paying my mortgage. The company is giving 700,000 to Mfantsipim. It doesn't mix. The governance and professionalism has to be top notch. You know, for my part, I don't have to tell you that the Industrial Fund for Developing Countries sits on my board. They're a $3 billion fund. You can't sit on that board if you're not ethical. So we know how to do it. I believe that we can do it. Thank you.
All right, good. So we're done. So we have one last question, which I want to summarize what we heard. Be bold and resolute, and it's maybe a fitting last question. Kobe, are you going to be bold and resolute? And one of the questions many people have, Reverend Minister, can you be bold against that hierarchy of ministers?
To be a Reverend Minister yourself, you must be bold. It's a tough world. And I've just done 6 years in no less a place than Accra Church. You have the top notch of the world in this place. If you are not bold, you can't. If the president is my congregant, I preach to him. I am bold. I can tell him when he has not done well. I do that. I am bold. I'm bold to take initiatives where I need to take initiatives. But I'm also pragmatic as to how I can achieve what I want to achieve. So, as for boldness, I do. If I was not bold, the number of things that I can juggle at one time, I won't be able to. Entrepreneur, what do you call it? Engineer, marketer, salesman, minister, father, marriage counselor, what do you call it? Musician. People ask me, how are you able to do all of this? I say, 1, discipline, and 2, time management. And if I have a meeting with you, for example, and we agree on a time, if you're not going to show up, if you're not showing up, you must tell me. If you show up late, forget the meeting. It doesn't matter who. And I'm saying that I have done this in no less a place, Accra Church. And they respect, the members here know that I stuck to the rules, and hence they must also stick to my rules. And
Okay.
so I am bold. As for being bold, I have it. I don't have it.
So you passed that particular test. Moses, last question. Let's just say we are convinced you are bold. Let's just believe that. Other than boldness, what is the next most important attribute you need to succeed?
You have to be able to solve problems. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating. At scale. You know, and then you have to have a governance and compliance system that allows you to work together with a big group like Mfantsipim, and let everybody be clear in their mind what their roles are, what their rights are, what they can do and what they can't do. I love what the President-elect and the 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘 have done by separating the governance, the governing board from the management. This fight that we're about to go on, as Nana Butler says, he's singing a hymn that resonates with me. Yes, it should be independence now. It's not going to be easy. But if you have a management team that's organized properly, you know, I don't like too many things that are for free, because you can't hold anybody accountable. If I give you a job that I don't pay, you come when you want and go when you want. I cannot work in such an environment. If I'm lucky enough to be voted into be 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘, I need to build a whole new platform at my own cost, because to save me time, so the management can be effective. We have to have a full functioning digital office that can deliver all these things that we say we can do in 60 months. So I think I share a lot of Asamoah's competencies. The other things, I'm not a reverend, but I've got several brothers who are reverends. As for music, I can't sing to save my life, but to raise money is evident I can do it. Thank you.
All right, so I think we've gotten a very good idea of our two candidates. We thank you both for your time and service and your enthusiasm and passion. We thank the audience for your time and enthusiasm and interest in our school. I think on that note, I want to thank all of you for today and this evening. Thank the organizers, and thank all of you as old boys. So good night. I'm told we are singing for all the saints. Last verse. So cue it up. So hold on. For all the saints, last verse.